are back with your last matchup of the day, Luminosity versus FaZe Clan. And again, I think this will be a pretty interesting match, of course, coming off of London. But I want to focus on Luminosity first,
Sure.
Nameless. What do you think about them? Obviously, it was a tough go at London, not exactly what we were expecting to see out of them.
Oh yeah, the crowd in London was not nice to Luminosity. They're going to be excited to be here with nobody screaming against them the whole time. But Classic's got to step it up. Like, he didn't have the ramp party. He was using the Maddox, and he's just—it's a mechanic thing, I think, at this point, because we know Classic. He puts a lot of time in. He knows what to do on this team. He's a pretty humble guy, so he'll listen to his teammates. I truly think it's simply a mechanic thing that he has to figure out. If they don't like switch up their roles, or they don't get Classic to figure out how to use that Maddox, they might continue to struggle. But that's the guy I'm looking at here. I mean, he had a 0.85 KD in all 3 game modes, which was like one of the top 5 worst.
Below a 0.85 in all 3.
Oh,
I'm looking for the entire team to just step up. Like, as you see, 13-6 record at Fort Worth and 7-10 at London. You can't only just put that on one player.
I'm not putting it simply.
Even though Classic had in every single game mode under a 0.85, and that's just honestly unacceptable. But just the LG that we've seen, just pushing every series to a game 5. Was just not what we were used to seeing, especially 7-10 in respawns.
And coming off the Fort Worth win.
Look at this roster.
It doesn't make sense.
So, like, even if one player is struggling on a roster that looks like this, I would expect them to still be winning the respawn. So there's more going wrong than just Classic not getting kills.
And that's very true. That's very true.
The roster top to bottom is super strong, so they have a lot to work on. Good thing is being at the league is that you have all this time to iron out all your flaws, and hopefully they did it before, so hopefully they can figure out a way to do it again.
Yeah, now let's swing over to their competition. FaZe Clan, again, now back to the Pro League, seeing what they are made of with their brand new roster. I mean, this will be a tough matchup. I mean, FaZe was looking good yesterday.
Yeah, they want revenge on this Luminosity.
Yeah, certainly.
Revenge.
I mean, it's controversial, control that happened, and this is an up-and-coming team right now with some up-and-coming players.
They're hungry for a win.
As well as some superstars on this team. I really think they're pretty strong in every single role. I didn't know how Zero would be as a main AR, as an ICR player, and as a leader on a team. I think it was the first time, in this game we've seen him run an ICR, and the first time we've seen him as the leader of his team. And he played very good, and I think it's a role that fits him. He's a veteran now. He has championships, and I think this team from top to bottom is pretty star-studded in terms of talent.
Yeah, for me, it's FaZe Clan is just their S&D for me. 3-6 after that one win versus UIU yesterday. But just overall, you have players that are just going to be able to step up at all times. Scraps is going to be pulling on a sniper. That's something we usually don't see. And even yesterday in their match, they had a total of all the rounds that they won, which is obviously 6-1. Every single round that they won, they had first blood. And Zuma had 3 of them in every round. So if they're able to keep up that consistency and just that pressure as a team, I feel like this is going to be an amazing series for them.
Now, we did ask you about this series on Twitter using the hashtag CWL PS4. Who do you think is going to win, FaZe or Luminosity? And FaZe says hashtag CWL PS4. I gotta go FaZe Clan. They look good against UIU and just need to work on S&D.
I mean, search and show yesterday looked pretty darn good.
They won 6-1.
They beat LG both hardpoints at London. So maybe, why not?
And Zach says, I gotta go with Luminosity. Time to bounce back to the main stage and earn another W.
I agree with Zach.
All right, and Mondo, hashtag CWL PS4. FaZe all the way, throw one up.
He loves Scraps.
Scraps.
Going up.
Scraps going up.
All right, so then Nameless, you're gonna stick with your LG faith?
Yeah, I think they're gonna win. I think they got this.
I think I'm gonna go FaZe 3-2.
I think I'm gonna go LG 3-1.
I think that's gotta depend a lot on, like, do we see Fort Worth LG or do we see London LG?
I mean, it's kind of hard to play when the entire crowd is screaming at you, like, get off the stage!
That's true.
Get off!
They didn't even do anything, right? All they did was play the game, and the ruling went in their favor, and then the crowd was not on their side from that point on. It's tough. And they still managed to pull out that game 5. So this team does have some thick skin.
And also now that, Luminosity, they don't perform, and now they know like what went wrong. They had the VOD to watch, and they sort of humbled themselves back out. Because if you remember, after they were playing terrible in the Pro League, they got humble. They're on the cusp of breaking up, and they figured out their issues and they started to improve. So sort of the same pattern happening again after that last event. We'll see if they're able to bounce back here in their very first match.
We got to throw one up. Throw it up.
All right, we've got a Luminosity, we've got a FaZe, but we are ready now to get into this series. Of course, Luminosity versus FaZe Clan with Ben and Chance.
Thank you so much, Katie. Try steady. At least he tried. Of course, for Nameless, he's been high on the LG hype train since the beginning of the year. They've had their moments. He was definitely right. This is a team full of talent. But coming into this one, last time we saw them play was just a couple of weeks ago. It goes the distance. It goes to a Game 5. Are you sticking with the outcome there? You sticking with LG win this one as well?
I think so, for like slightly specific reason. It mainly comes down to the hard points for me. So we're actually seeing 3 out of the 5 maps are going to be the exact same.
Okay.
Both of the hard points, which last time FaZe did win, but that's where I think it switches. I don't expect LG. There's no way they go 0-4 to FaZe in hard points. I think they bounce back, and especially like the frequency, for example. They've played so many different gun metas on this map. LG, I'm talking about. They've used an ICR at some point. They had the Rampart at some point. Maddox's at one point, and last time I saw them, they were running a double KN setup. So they've been switching up things so much that I expect that now they've had an extra week, a little bit more time to play with it, and they've seen, okay, it wasn't working on frequency. What are we going to do? Maybe it's just 1 KN. Maybe they stick with the 2 and have a little bit more experience. But I think they're going to be more well-practiced, at least on the frequency, which is why, honestly, one of the more important maps for LG to try and get.
Well, of course, to start the last series, we talked about wanting to focus on a specific player. We focused on TJ off the rip. This entire series, we don't have to do the same thing we did last time by just kind of watching him for the first couple of minutes, but I do want to focus heavily on Classic. Whenever we're on his perspective, maybe just try and note some of the things that could be going wrong, because unfortunately for him, London wasn't good. We've seen him have great success with the Rampart, but as soon as that goes out of meta, it's tough. It's been very, very unfortunate for him. On the flip side, for FaZe, a bit of a hybrid team, which I don't think many people had, kind of coming through as a very talented team, but they have a big point to prove, and I think they're doing a good job so far.
And again, I think if you want to highlight anything specific, I'm going to get as specific as possible and bring it up again.
Yep.
Most creative grapple,
here we go.
or one of the more creative grapple users is Seam. Another thing, just when you're on his perspective, see what he brings to the table, Ben. Because we know this is the important stuff. This is the nitty gritty.
Yep.
Do you use grapple in like slightly weird spots? Yes, great. I love it.
Was it yesterday? Gridlock where he tried to grab a jump and miss completely. It's like,
yeah,
creative.
It's creative, yeah.
Creative. Hey, you're thinking outside the box. But now to your point, we'll keep our eye on all those small little things. The small little details could be the difference. Of course, on your screen, you can see Selim right in the middle. And a lot of pressure on his shoulders. You think about how his year has been. Obviously, the PLQ, not getting into the league, then going through the open bracket, having great success there. Now finds himself in the league, has to perform well.
Yeah, and I'm kind of like waiting for him to like hit his full form. Because again, the things he's been doing online for years, disgusting. Like top level, like at the level he has been playing online, you'd expect him to be one of the best players in the game. And now don't get me wrong, he is good so far, but I think there's a lot of room for improvement, and I want to see him kick it up just another notch. And if there's any players and teams to do it against, LG is a very good place to start.
Sure. You compare him to maybe some of the other players of his generation, those young guns, your Simps, for example. You see how much success he has had on his squad, and it's kind of almost a countdown, right? You're waiting to see that same something. You've seen glimpses of it. You've seen those moments where you go, wow, he has talent. He really is that kind of echelon of player, but he hasn't been as consistent as others. And maybe that's just due to we haven't seen him as much, but hey, this is the time to prove it, right? Right here, Columbus, Ohio, in the Pro League.
And then, of course, it's not just players that are the new guns that are looking to improve themselves, but Zuma as well. Yeah. He's another guy that hasn't found himself in the league or an unfortunate spot at the start of the year. And honestly, he wasn't performing great as an individual, but lately he's actually, it seems like, kind of returned to old form. Definitely kicked it up a couple notches. He's been great. And now something he even talked about on, I think Crowder had a podcast, and Zuma was talking about it. He was like, I've learned so much from Crowder that I'm a better teammate. I can be that leader on the team of the more veteran. I've kind of transformed myself as an out-of-game individual to help out some of these younger, newer players.
And it's such a good point, because now he is surrounded by a couple of younger players, and you have to take that role. I mean, you look at Scraps, you look at Zero. By no means are they kind of the veterans of Europe. When you talk about veterans of Europe, you think of players maybe like Mad Cat, players like Josh. But sadly, they're not in the league this year. So maybe it does rest with them. But Chance, letting into map number 1, I have one question only. What do you think of the thoughts of LG?
They're okay.
And what do you think of okay?
I think LG.
Thank you.
That's all right.
You just had to do the English accent. You just had to ruin it.
How does that ruin it?
Because you're not very good at English accents.
That's not that bad.
That was terrible.
No, dude, no. The very first moment I met Lottie, she told me what her name was and said it obviously in her accent, and I said nice to meet you and responded in that accent. She literally went, oh, are you Scottish? And like Ton just like started laughing. I was cracking up and like, look, I have an okay English accent.
I think you got played. I think everyone was being sarcastic, but
no.
We got baited.
The entire chat thought someone else was casting. There was like, oh, Momo's casting with Benson now. Like, who knew? That's exactly what happened.
Couldn't sound further away from Momo. That's for sure. But obviously, we just had one of the greatest, if not the greatest, CWL Open event ever. Up next, America, it's your turn. We head over towards Anaheim. The crowd will be twice as big, but will they make twice as much noise? We wait and see. Anaheim is always a fan favorite event. It's one that every time anyone asks you, where should I go? I can afford to go to one event every year. The answer is always Anaheim.
And and I say we as like Americans as a collective, we just need to steal like 1 or 2 chants. Like even if we just add like the build up of like, you know, Simp when he was using the sniper, and then he hits it and then he explodes. Even if we just steal like that, it'll be so much better. Like that'll be a massive boost. So just, you know, help us out.
I'm so glad you
steal 1 or 2. You don't have to steal 20 of them because obviously the Europeans, they just pull crazy stuff out on the fly. They instantly get 2,000 people to join in on whatever. We don't need all of that. It would be great if we could, but we need to start somewhere. Just steal like 1 of them.
I think we just send out emails. Hey, were you at London? No, you were? All right, well, here's a plane ticket to Anaheim. That would work pretty well.
I would 100% be on board with that.
That would be insane. That's how you turn Anaheim to the next level. Sheesh. Imagine that. Anyway, game number 1 underway. Some bad blood between FaZe Clan and LG. What result will we see here in Columbus, Ohio? Probably well, good start for FaZe. Of course, it is going to be that frequency hardpoint. First hill, so much chaos, but a good opening break from FaZe Clan.
As much as FaZe could possibly ask for. Now you got LG going for a bit of a map spread. A couple players maybe going on a pinch, trying to hit it through mid. But so far, none of the gunfights starting. But now the trades come in. FaZe out on top for, well, early on. Slack tries to slide in. His teammate was not with him, so no trades come in for the side of LG. And this is best case scenario for FaZe. Everything going their way. A bunch of players getting kills. Celium even is creeping up on some score streaks, but he's got a ton of players trying to hunt him down. He peeks out to the left, and LG finally get a wipe. Well, I say wipe, they got to find Zuma. Finally, they drop him. Asim, of course, was there with the grapple quickly, but LG at least a couple points on board.
FaZe will be happy with that. You know, they get themselves a little bit of a lead. Nothing massive, about 15 points, but more importantly, they control the spawns for the second hill. Now it just comes down to winning the first wave of gunfights. It's a good start for John. Zuma drops, but still spawns in, so not the end of the world for FaZe. They, of course, are in the hill for now. Slack with a double. Here a look at Class's perspective. Unfortunately for him, he drops, Celium with 3.
This is the Celium we were talking about that we want to see, kicking it up a notch. 6-1 off the rip, but of course, it has been a full effort for the FaZe clan, and honestly, he's looking for the next Slack, though, able to shut down Celium. Now it's about just trying to stay alive inside the hill. LG, they're trying to surge forward. They got all 5 players nearby, and a lot of the kills starting to go their way, and it looks like enough get dropped for them to get inside the hill. Can they break through, though? And it looks like they might have just enough, but again, it's just trades on trades on trades. Non-stop on this second hill.
Yeah, this is a rivalry game now. After their match in London, FaZe definitely will want revenge, and they'll want to do it in emphatic style. They will want a 3-0, and they will want to make LG pay, if you will. Good second hold from FaZe, gives them about a 50-point lead now. As we rotate, it's LG fully set up, and that transition from P2 to P3 can be so difficult. FaZe already falling like dominoes. 2 kills for Gunless, 1 for Formal. Great start to the hold here for Luminosity.
Obviously, we saw the Optic Gaming approach of pushing up players aggressively. LG taking a more passive approach, but they are getting all the kills. They got just, what, double Maddox trying to lock down these lanes, and you can see the impact. Gunless able to pick up 2. He had the help from his team at elbow, and it's not even taking bullets. You can't even connect with him. He's just winning these gunfights for free. 75 away, and Gunless will have some streaks.
That's just the effect Gunless has, right? You're down almost 50 points to start, and the next thing you know, Gunless has held a hill for a full 50 seconds. I mean, look at his hill time now. He's close to some streaks as well. The Gunless factor. Only be able to earn those streaks, though. That be the big question. He's on a 5 streak right now. He's milked the entire time. He just needs 10 more points. Will he get one last tick here? No, he won't. An EKA would be enough, or the kill itself. Gunless just doing Gunless things.
The only thing you wanted to not do is feed a kill to Gunless, and he just gets one for free, slides out right in front of him, and now he's just going to wait for it. FaZe is getting this time, but he might be able to get the kill. The Lightning is going to force players inside. The kill's in front of him, but he gets taken down just in time by Zero. The trade just a little bit too slow, so FaZe, they burn the Lightning. They don't have to worry about any more streaks. They've been in this hill this entire time, and Zuma may be heating up just a little bit. He's on a 4 spree.
As you said, FaZe still on the hill, 24 seconds left. Tech 5 boost is used. However, Seam does go down. Zuma's still waiting for the push to come through from LG, but it's a pinch and didn't see it coming. Scraps has done wonderfully well to find 2, can't find the 3rd. Now the rotational fight's already coming through. Selim re-challenges, he gets himself 2, and to the point you made, Chance, this is exactly what we're talking about. That type of performance from Selim, and you're getting it again here, 13 and 6. He's playing extremely well. Tempest out as well. Could maybe earn some streaks here if he's good with it.
Well, Scraps doesn't want him to earn anything. Scraps just instantly with the team kill, but I guess the good news is they're inside of the hill. The War Machine good enough to find Classic. Of course, he's working on some score streaks of his own. If not selling him, it might just be Scraps. Just needs the 1 EKI. Just needs help with the kill on Formal. There it is. He's got the Lightning do the same thing. You get the Hellstorm. Now it's just about the gunfights. He just needs the trades, just needs a bullet. Can he get one? He gets the kill himself. And of course, inside the hill, he's just trying to go on a rampage, Ben.
Oh, that's such a good cut as well. The way he recognized instantly how to push through the middle of P1 just to try and get behind LG, buy his teammates a little bit of time because the hill was still contested. FaZe really playing very, very well. Asim, his turn now to shot punch. 129.83. Obviously, I mentioned Classic at the start of the game and how we did want to kind of maybe highlight him a little more. Another slow start for him at least. 8 and 12, 18 seconds hill time. Here's a quick glance at his perspective. And again, Chance, if you see any of the small things going wrong, no, mention them.
Well, I'll try to keep it in the back of your mind. So far, so good. It's worth pointing out, just no KNs, right? You got Zero running an ICR. No one else, I think, has had the KN at all, unless I've just missed it in the kill feed. But you got Specialists coming out from Gunless. That means it's going to be very tough to get in through this back door. And, of course, all of LG sitting inside the hill. They only have to worry about one entrance for the most part. Now the move FaZe is just trying to flood their way in, but you got to deal with Gunless. He picks up 2. You talk about what Classic is doing right or wrong. It doesn't make a difference. Gunless on a 5 spree and Slack, well, he's looking for the Slack slam, but, well, maybe not so much. Selim is able to beat him down.
Yeah, with just 15 seconds left, I don't think he necessarily needed to invest that there. They'll give up the scrap time now. It's about the rotation. As long as number 5, Zuma, isn't able to cause too many problems, they should be okay. Slack, of course, does have the grab slam to either re-break the hill or just keep hold of the hill. He dances and darts with one of the FaZe players down low. Drops down, nice gunfight from him, but his teammates need help on the hill. It's currently going to be contested. Player on balcony, Scraps is going to use the Hellstorm. Slack will fall. Have they found an opening, maybe an LG setup? Doesn't look like it just yet because John has still done a good job of holding window, but Selim again heating up. And it's worth mentioning, I'm hearing Zero get very loud hyping up the young teammates.
Slack does come in though, but he can only find 1. The Sog not good enough for 2. Selim's gonna shut him down, but now you got John, the cleanup crew, in for the trades, and he's 100 off of some score streaks of his own. LG, they need something or someone to try to help them blow open this game, and John might be the man to do it. Just looking for 1 kill. He's got the Sog. There's the Lightning. But again, this is just to kind of contest what Scraps has as well. You got a streak for either side.
To rotate through towards the final hill of the second rotation. 155, 144 advantage FaZe. We knew it was going to be close. Oh no, but that's a terrible lightning strike. Zuma will fall, as does Scraps. And now, if you're LG, you have a free break. John will invest his just to add a little bit of salt into the wound. LG should be able to control this for at least a little bit of time, unless Asim is able to put that grab slam to good use. Scraps trying to make up for the mistake earlier on. A double for him, and FaZe just breaks straight through.
On the list of things that don't make sense, those past 30 seconds are towards the top. It's a lightning strike that is a double team kill. Then you also get lightning strike by the opponent. 10 seconds later, you're inside the hill. And it seems like all is well and good. And of course, John did not get that next Hellstorm. So a lot of good things, I suppose, going the way of FaZe. But now it's about that rotation. 3 bodies for LG inside the next hill. No one for FaZe is quite nearby as Scraps gets cut down as well. But Asim might be the man to make the play.
Yeah, it is. It has to be. The grab slam can be so lethal on this first hill if they, or the LG players, stack. This could be a free break, and he's thinking about it. Fly straight in, only finds one, instantly traded out. Is anyone else from FaZe able to collapse in towards the hill? Well, Gunless is going to make sure that isn't the case for mid-map. John watching the FaZe spawn. LG down just 20 points with 40 seconds left on the first hill.
And this might just be a specialist battle towards the end, because you got Selim is about to have the Tempest, Zero about to have the Purifier, and Formal and Classic have each of theirs, and Gunless might even get the War Machine. So who can use them better, and when do you want to use them as well? Because LG, if they can even get a hold towards the second rotation, which huge gunfight right here, Zoom is able to find two, just trying to keep FaZe near that side of the map as they break through and extend their lead. So honestly now, pressure's on LG. You're going to have to burn some specialists. You got to get a good use, and here's the Vision Pulse.
Oh, Pulse is going to be used, as you mentioned, stacked with two. You still have two more specialists. Scraps has earned himself another War Machine at 26 and 16. There's a double for him. Can he find three? Has Gunless one shot, and Scraps, he's a confident man, and he's going to challenge, and he's going to win the fight as well. War Machine now out. LG could be in trouble, but you hear the trophy rattle off. Scraps has to just wait for teammate support to come through before he can even think about trying to push. Eventually just chalks that one up. Wants to take the gunfight with his gun. Why? Because he can shred just like that. The flank from Formal, though, is that going to be enough? He finds two, still phasing the hill.
Extra health, Zuma's gonna have it, and he's gonna need it, because LG, well, they were surrounding for a moment, but Formal eventually gets caught out. Now you got Zero locking down the front phase. 25 seconds away, this game is theirs. They can win it here, so LG, they're forced to at least contest. I don't think they quite got enough. They gotta get a body in the hill, and LG, well, if they don't get in, it's gonna be over. Zuma can find two, Scraps gets the final one, and no one for LG is near the hill.
And that was such good discipline from Zuma. He didn't turn around when the hardpoint was contested. He earns himself two for his efforts. LG, they have to just at least touch their hill. I don't think the tick is even going to count, so it's going to be a foot race on rotation. It could come down to just a 1v1. FaZe is already in the hill. LG ran through it, and FaZe steal it. A beautifully played map from FaZe Clan. You said heading into it, you weren't sure if FaZe could win two hardpoints again. That is a great way to start the series.
God, and I thought the bounce back would have been frequency too. I mean, again, for LG, I think towards the start of the year, they used one ICR on it, which Zero ends up bringing it out against them. But then they switched to the triple matic setup. Then they had a Rampart for one event. Then they tried the KNs. Now they're back, I guess, to Old Faithful, to what they had just before the Rampart kind of came into effect. But, I mean, I guess if FaZe beat them once on it, they can beat them again. And that's a game where, honestly, FaZe tried to give it to him, too. Scraps, when he double team kill with the lightning strike, I was like, they're trying to hand this game away, but then they just continuously clutched up.
You called it perfectly. That 30 seconds was just didn't make any sense. A double team kill with a lightning strike, then two other players go down, and a lightning from the other. So essentially 5 players dead, and then FaZe just walk into the hill and say, all right, well, you don't want the time, we'll take the time, and we're able to hold it. A series of, I guess, unfortunate events there for LG. But FaZe, when push came to shove, it was this final few moments which really were the decision maker. And again, I called it out. Zuma having the discipline to just keep watching the front door with his teammate, not panicking, trusting his teammate in the hill to win the gunfight. For me, the decision maker, and it's this play you'll see once again.
And it's crazy how it panned out too, because Scraps was like trying to force the War Machine in, but no one could find the trophy to get rid of it for him. So he was kind of useless effectively for 10, 12 seconds before he has to put it away. And in spite of that, the rest of FaZe was still doing a good enough job. Asim was in the back, was able to pick up 2 kills. Selim came up to help Zuma for some of the final ones. That LG honestly got helped out quite a bit from the trophy and still wasn't good enough to get the kill.
Well, Jess caught up with Scraps before the game. Jess, what does Scraps have to say?
Thanks, Ben. Well, Scraps said some things that I actually can't really repeat without getting fined here on stream. He had some very colorful language to say about LG, but let's just say he doesn't think very highly of them. And he did say, if we play the way that we played yesterday, this will be a 3-0. Now, over on the side of Luminosity, I caught up with Formal, and he's not nearly feeling as upbeat as the FaZe guys are. I think LG are kind of still hurting from what they feel should have been a better placing at London. Formal said, we just weren't playing like ourselves, but that's okay. We'll bounce back. So he is remaining hopeful at least. Let's see how the rest of the series goes. Ben Chance, back over to you guys.
Thank you, Jess. Good job avoiding the fine, because I can just imagine some of the words Scraps had in mind.
It wouldn't have been one fine. It would have been like 17 fines.
Would have been a lot of fines
in a row.
Yeah.
Would have been bad.
Yeah, good job, Jess, avoiding that. FaZe 1-0 up, though. Scraps, of course, always confident. It's interesting, because when you talk to him, you can feel the confidence that he has. And this year, it does almost feel as if maybe could be his year in a sense, because you look at how good he actually is at this game, Chance. There can be no argument. He is up there in the conversation of some of the best to play.
Absolutely, but I think the biggest issue is just like the placings. Like he's been fantastic as an individual, but until you start cracking into the top 4, top 3 to win an event, like it would be hard pressed. Like no one's calling him the best player in the game. As good as he's been, he's not in that conversation yet, but he is capable of being there. And the question is this FaZe team a team that can force it to that next level, to kick up in that top 4 range?
I think the brute honesty of that is you look at the team and you don't think it is. I think you'd be hard-pushed to find many experts that would say, yes, this FaZe team will win a championship this year. No disrespect intended, but here's the crazy thing. With how well they played at their first event, if you see the improvements they're able to make, you never know. You never know. It takes one good weekend of Call of Duty, and maybe they do lift a trophy.
And keep in mind, the focal point for this FaZe team is how good at search can they get, because obviously back at London, they were 2-6, and they still look pretty good. Yesterday, they had the bounce back. I think they had a pretty nice win over UIU on, I think it was actually Hacienda, was it not?
Yep.
And now we're going right back there from map number 2. But they also played LG on Hacienda, and we talked about how map 1 went basically as it did the first time around. Last time, LG beat them 6-1.
To your point, it's almost crucial for their success. They have to be better at search and destroy. It really is that simple for FaZe. They have the players capable of being explosive, of being entry players, the X factors. They have so many of those type of players. They need to be better at search and destroy from what we saw at London. Now, to your point, yesterday, they looked great, but they were playing against a pretty struggling opposition, I think it's fair to say. Now you get your rematch. What can you show us? Has there been that improvement? Yesterday, it was just a continual first blood war for FaZe. They're able to win it almost every single time, but already a 2v3. Zero has managed to get himself in the water, makes it a 1v1. Celium, this is why you were picked up, but unfortunately has to reload. Formal clutches up.
Oh my God. That would have been the play right there. That would have been a 4-piece. That would have been trading every single kill. And I have to imagine the best play is going to show it as well, because you see the trades come in for the first and the second, I imagine, came quickly thereafter. Zero had the help for the third, and then he just goes for the instant challenge. You talk about a confident man in search and destroy. He went for it there, Ben.
Confident, but didn't win the round.
Very true.
Formal says, all right, I respect your confidence, young man, but I've been around for quite some time. And he's able to close out the round with a nice double. Advantage LG here in the Hacienda, 1-0 up. Zero, not going to spot anything yet, but LG may have just played the timing perfect. The late push could pay dividends, but at the same time, FaZe recognize, well, there's no pressure over towards A. They have to be somewhere. If FaZe recheck B, well, they don't even need to recheck it. Bomb planted.
FaZe, honestly, well, they're trying to trap these players in. You can see that everyone on their bottom office is going to get cleaned up because the team is able to find two. So LG maybe a little bit too aggressive. They get the bomb down, but then they get swarmed by FaZe. Now you make it a 2v4 Formal and Classic to try to clutch. There's the first one, but the trades are instant. Formal. Double challenge comes in, and there's nothing he can do. The opening strat was great to get the bomb down, but FaZe responded perfectly to alleviate the pressure they put in your office.
And that's all the same. Bottom middle. Yep. Finds one. Doesn't get traded. Gets a shot punch off as well for the double. Whilst he's doing that, Zero manages to win his gunfight as well. Gives them a massive numerical advantage. Even when they're retaking, Scraps actually stayed in office. So it was a 3v2 over towards the retake. Scraps was a little worried about the flanking as soon as he got the information, then started to rotate. But a good round from FaZe. They answer back. 1-1. And bear in mind, of course, round one did come down to a 1v1, which maybe on a different day, Celium wins that fight.
Yeah, it really seems like FaZe, honestly, maybe more comfortable. I know Merc has talked about this before, that it's very tough because with a new team, you don't scrim S&D nearly as much as you scrim the respawn, so it might be a little bit, or take a little bit longer to like get the teamwork out there. And this FaZe playing incredibly aggressive. They are playing for those trades, and even the round that they lost, it was trades on trades. Everybody is in the right spot, picking up each other's cuts, and they just didn't win the gunfights, but they're right back at it towards B. It looks like LG is going to give it up.
It's like the perfect mesh as well of search and destroy players. Like, they're just all so aggressive. I've made the point before, they can all find that opening pick. And, well, there's the first blood for a scene, this time with a nade. Gunless goes down. The bomb, though, was not safe. Classic finds the pick. Zero flanks, though, and maybe if he'd been a few moments earlier, could have survived that scenario. But it's a 3v3. Bomb has been retrieved. However, unfortunately enough for FaZe, they are trapped. Slack with the reach out, wins the fight 3v2. Round turned into a 2v2, and I don't know how Cellium has won that second fight. That is a miracle. Scrap surely wins this 1v1. The fact Cellium killed the second there. At that point, if I'm Scraps, I'm giving Cellium a bat. I'm giving what you want raise? Like, what do you want?
Dap him up and say good round. Another best play for Cellium. This time they get the win.
How has he won this second fight? 2 health, that's how.
Slack, wow. We'll talk about it later. Another good round, though, for FaZe. Again, you talk about the trades being on point. It's also kind of funny to talk about how aggressive all of them are as Zero's just slowly swimming across the map. But a lot of them, yeah, definitely. Most of them are very aggressive players because, of course, Zero, the island man, and now you got everyone else going to be towards A. The sniper battle in the hands of John. He comes out on top, and then the Kobe comes in from Slack, gets the third as well with the Maddox, and now Zero is going to go swim with the fishes.
Well, he's not going to get out in time, so the bomb will go down. So just a few extra points towards Classic. Finally hops out the map, concedes the round. Good way of bouncing back there from LG.
Slack just with the frag grenade. Honestly, was the difference maker. Of course, it's nice to get the first blood as well, but this is just one that is honestly about as perfectly heat-seeking as you could ask. You throw it at the fence and it just rolls toward the opponents, but next level. I guarantee you he's been over that in theater mode.
Oh, 100%. No doubt in my mind. 2-2. Good response from LG as FaZe go back onto the attack. What do they have in their strat book for this round? Classic already one shot. He'll track back. Quick glance at the stats. It's Slack leading the way for LG. Admittedly, the triple kill last round definitely helped at 5-3 for FaZe. Hacienda 5-3. Zuma with the first blood this round.
Classic is able to trade one, but FaZe just pouring all the pressure over towards Waterside. Even the bomb guy right now, they are trying to hunt Classic down. Honestly, I don't know how much information they have, but Classic, it looks like he is not expecting this, because why would you? The bomb is on the opposite side of the map. Finally, he feels it, but the ICR not quite good enough. Scrap's able to find the kill. But at the same time, he got formal with the ICR, but this is just another trade. Every single gunfight, FaZe has had at least 2, if not 4 bodies shooting at these LG players one by one.
I just imagine Cellium's eyes lit up as he heard Formal's ICR. He's like, oh, he's right here. Just quick peek, free kill, 4v2. The numbers back in FaZe's advantage. It's like, could maybe, just maybe, find the bomb planter, but nope. Forced to concede. Mid connector. Now he's running straight into Zero, the shot punch. Enough. He's never expected in his wildest dreams to get the double. Cellium will deny him himself. 3v1. Good luck, Slacked. Not gonna happen. Gotta check those corners. Zuma with a free kill.
That really just was a great round of team deathmatch, right? It was, you get complete office control. I think it was 3 players that simultaneously flew out of that top window to get that first blood. There's 1, there's 2, there's the 3rd. Classic is able to find 1, but then the next set of gunfights, everyone just got traded, and FaZe at least 2, if not 3, if not 4 bodies just to single up an individual player out from the side of LG repeatedly.
Smart play. Wolfpack mentality. Can be so successful in search, at times at least. Again, FaZe with the advantage. John looking to see if he can try and find a first blood through the fence. Not going to be the case. Classic is still there. Pretty much everyone on the map is here at this site. John's feeling very, very confident. Jumps over the fence. There's 1, there's 2. Beautifully done. Traded out 2v2 now, though. Classic gunless alive. Scraps will fall. Leave Zero in a 1v2. Really have any utility to work with. Just the ICR in hand. 1v1. Gunless still alive.
I was thinking Zero might try to pick up a weapon to take the close range gunfight, but ICR so far, well, there he picks up the Maddox. Gunless has started to rotate, though, and this time is ticking down. The question is, can Zero make the read? Because Gunless right now is making the play. Gunless with the free gunfight, shooting in the back. Zero able to stay alive, but 14 seconds. Do you fake the bomb hop? Well, you got 12 left. The question is, do you commit or play for the kill? Zero's just going to play for the kill. It's an easy gunfight to win, but perfectly played by Gunless to get the round secure, just to tie things up at 3-3.
And Zero was so patient. He waited so long, and the second he gave up that top platform, Gunless flies through the door.
And that's just Gunless playing around the ICR. It's I can move over. I don't want to get picked side fences. I can just shoulder peek around connector for as long as possible. And as soon as you see no pressure's coming in, maybe you're expecting a flank, you clear that out, there's nothing there, and then you just go on a flank of your own. So very well played just to tie things up. But now, of course, I'm trying to think about this from LG's perspective. On defense, like, what do? You just had a round where FaZe didn't care about planting the bomb early on and just ran you over.
They took the bomb to your spawn.
Literally. So what do? It's FaZe once again. A ton of pressure mid-map, nice and aggressive. Classic gets caught out. The wall bang stops the kill. The exact same thing we saw before. So we've been here once. Can LG bounce back?
See, this time if you're FaZe, you just say, well, last time they just overran back. This time, let's just punt the bomb.
And you might be right. Perfect bait. LG play passive. FaZe is playing chess.
I love that. Oh, I absolutely love it. LG have just been a little outsmarted this round, and Zuma has actually still pushed up, as well you would expect based on Zuma's playstyle and search. I think he's able to find one to lay the push. This is a big fight. He needs to win it. Almost with two. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, Scraps and Celium doing work. FaZe on attack. Just looks so good, Chance.
They got to finish the gunfights as well, and they're actually just going to use the stun to get the guarantee. Formal for the 0v3. He gets taken down. Ben, you called it perfectly. FaZe is playing chess while LG is playing Mancala.
Couldn't just say checkers, could you?
I don't know. Just that was a fun childhood game of mine. You ever play?
No.
You even know what it is?
Yes. Okay. Oh, Zero. A good end to the round for him. A double with the ICR, and again, FaZe just playing some mind games here with LG. LG's taking the bait, or at least they did that round. When we see something similar again, 0, 250 off streaks, 7 and 4. Celium 8 and 5. And speaking of Celium, you may actually have some work to do. The bomb for LG playing a little slow. I thought maybe Celium was going to push up. But for now, FaZe have a wall across the map, ready and waiting for LG to push.
Well, seems able to spot one. Is able to get out with his life and should be calling out to his team. Guys, they are moving towards this A site. I don't quite know if he saw someone get on site. And he is just staying alive. Stim shot coming in great effect for Hacienda, but Classic gets the bomb down and he gets out.
Problem for LG is Hacienda's locked down the entire side, so if you're FaZe, you don't really have to worry about it. It should just be a good old-fashioned retake. John's hit a bit of a flank, though. Meanwhile, the gunfight connector. Classic needs help, but he doesn't get the help. Now, all of a sudden, Gunless is left by himself for a 1v4. You blink, and everyone from LG falls. It's an ambitious nade. Is it going to be enough? It lands perfectly. It forces Zero away with 15 seconds. Gunless has to win so many fights. It's almost impossible. It is impossible. Maybe, just maybe, if that nade had found the kill. But it wasn't the case. Too much to do.
Oh, that would have been. Yeah, if he got the stick. I was going to say that's an impossible round to win, but you're right. If that nade hits that stick, you really never know, especially because it's a cluster. Once you land it at the site, you know you got an extra 3 or 4 seconds that you can wait. But either way, it's just another round for FaZe where the trades are on point. They're just winning the gunfights. Even when John goes on the perfect flank and has 2 players to shoot in the back, FaZe still trades out that kill. And then, of course, inside connector, they were just picking LG apart. They're looking like a very experienced team, despite the fact that it's only been maybe a month now for the guys.
Which is kind of crazy. It's funny, I asked you in London, you know, what is their ceiling? I'll ask you again in a couple of weeks. We'll see what you say. As of right now, FaZe 5-3 up in this search and destroy, the 4v4. So maybe close this one out. Of course, it is FaZe on the attack, and the bomb is down. This team will claim it. Could maybe push over towards B. And 2 players have actually already pushed Lambo, so Classic drops. That wasn't body shooting. There was a trophy down. Zero actually has the 2 players from LG pinched, and bear in mind, 100 points away from a streak here. The ping alone could be enough to close out this map.
Honestly, yeah, guarantee. You have to trade him out. You have to stop him, and John does, and keep in mind, Formal got a kill as well. They actually never got the bomb planted either. Looks like they're going to be able to now, but Formal and John You got two teammates for quite some time going for the pinch. John's got to win the gunfight. He does. It's going to leave Celium just in between two players looking for the trades, and John just dancing, staying alive, keeping them in this. And Formal, well, he's on him for the kill.
Yeah, here's the thing. Formal didn't actually hop on the bomb, and that's given Celium a chance. A very big chance to clutch the 1v2. You had him pinned. All you needed to do was hop on the bomb. And with 21 seconds left, all Celium needs to do is jiggle peek. He has vision of the bomb. I don't think Formal realizes that Celium can see the bomb from top corridor. All he has to do is jiggle. Now the shots have come through. Celium has outplayed for the win. FaZe take it 6-3.
That is literally sheer and utter outplaying. They were playing chess that game, and the other team was playing a different one. That is completely absurd because you called it perfectly. Celium is trapped underneath. He can't get to the bomb in 7 seconds. That's even if he just guns John off the heady. You could have hopped the bomb, but you played for the kill, and Celium played around the information like an expert.
Cannot give a player that talented in Search and Destroy that high of a percentage chance of winning the round, because he'll take it more times than not. A wonderful start from FaZe, and obviously Jess spoke to Scraps and said a lot of things which we can't repeat on broadcast, but the one thing he did say is, we're going to 3-0 LG. So far, so good chance, 2-0 up.
I mean, again, the biggest problem was honestly just the Search and Destroy, which they fixed that completely on a map that LG, last time they played, they beat them 6-1.
Well, this time it's 6-3 advantage FaZe. 2-0 up in the series. Can they get the revenge? Scraps is having fun. We'll be back after this with Game 3. Stands, FaZe Clan, 2-0 up against LG. We saw Scraps and roll up there, suggesting that this is going to be the 3-0 he may have correctly predicted when he spoke to Jess before the series began. LG heading into game 3, though. Do you believe? Chance, because no one predicted 3-0 FaZe.
No, definitely not. I think even I said it like right at the start. I was like, I'm feeling a little bit confident for LG just because I think they'll be at least fine in the search and destroy. And I don't think the hard point will happen in the same way. But here we are. And FaZe is looking great. But I will say, just to keep the LG argument going, it is Arsenal. You get a ton of ICRs on the map. And like, I don't know, maybe there's hope. Maybe this is gunless and formal to go off, but Selim as well has just been playing out of his mind.
He's been so good. He's been so good. Even in the hard point, he was excellent. Unfortunately, he'll fall early here. It's FaZe to try and defend. LG to attack in the first round. Life count even. Just trades back and forth. No real advantage off the rip. LG's going to keep flying in towards A, though. Scraps first line of defense here for FaZe as Asim has picked Formal off. That's the right pillar, and so far, so good for FaZe.
Another set of kills all the way down. The second ICR, and Asim is able to find a couple. Everyone putting up numbers right now, and Zero with the rotation. He's got a lot to deal with, but honestly, even just getting the first one is good to stop it, and he finds the second as well. LG tried to push the B. They get stuffed. Now they get spawn killed, down by 7 lives. What more could you ask from FaZe? That kill feed, that's very red on the left side. That is very aggressive, and this clock is ticking down, Ben.
And this is a game mode as well where you think about the aggression that these players have. They are going to fly. If they get 3-4 players dead, they're going to push forward. And the fact that you have your kind of safeguard of Zero, I mean, you see what he does. Rotates into a wall, like 3-4 LG players. He's able to find 2, slow down a push by himself. It's great to see Zero in that type of form because he can be such a special player when he's having fun and enjoying himself. But it's not over yet. LG have broken through, and, well, the kill feed was red. Now it's all blue.
Well, you're still down by 4 lives, so FaZe, they just have to play it smart. Honestly, play it like you played the search and destroy. Go for the trades and make sure when you trade kills, you find slack. Just 125. Well, not for long. He's going to be able to just be 25 off his streak, so desperation time.
Can't even get shot by him. Selim knew that, so we let John kill him.
Hey, he's next level, and then Zuma also felt the pressure, so he's going to fall, but this was, what, a 6 or 7 life advantage that FaZe had. Now you're down to 3. Slack's got to get the kill. The trade is in. He's got the lightning, and looking for the Hellstorm, he connects. They were down by 6. Now you're down by 2, and you got streaks to go to B. They can do this.
Do you use a streak here?
100% use at least the lightning just to clear him out. He's going to call him the Hellstorm. I don't know how many he'll be able to find.
Should get.
But he's at least going to call him out, and you can see his teammates already roaming up the side.
I was going to say, I thought for a minute he missed that, but finally LG fly in. 2 kills come through. They're down to the final 5 lives, but the round by no means over. You still have a lightning in, but not anymore. Slack does go down. It would have been kind of crazy maybe to invest both when they went for it. And boy, did LG put up a good fight. Credit to them, because they made it close. They made it interesting, but FaZe stands strong.
That's fair. For how bad of a start it was, that's fair that LG made it interesting, but I say go for it. I say 100% call both in, because like now you use one, you don't get the round win, and like that's on offense. So like now you only have 1 left and you're already down. Like I just say go for it. Like they're there to win you rounds.
Here's the thing, I think maybe you ping the lightning first, you force
the players inside, you get in
away,
position.
Then you have positioning. Then if you lose those fights, because bear in mind you're going to be in the zone at that point, time will stop. You can drop the Hellstorm. Then if you really need to, you're calling the lightning as well. But not how it played out. And FaZe still win the round. Smiles on their faces, and well, rightfully so. 2-0 up in the series.
Well, we'll see what LG can put together on defense, or at the very least, what FaZe can bring to the table on offense. It's going to be a lot of players leaning towards A once again. Of course, there's no specialist, only the 1 streak on board. It comes down to the opening break. This is where ICRs, well, shine for FaZe last time around, and, well, it looks like it's going to be the Maddox from Hacienda that shines this time. The Maddox kill feed. Slack gets the beat down as well. A 4 life advantage instantaneously. 1 ticket A gone, and honestly, LG, they might just chalk this up from the outset.
And the saving grace, you have Slack with the lightning, but maybe you invest that at B if you're able to reduce the deficit. You have a lot of time here. Problem as well is a couple of FaZe players going to get close to streaks of their own. And you're going to have to make sure if you're LG, you find the right kills at the right time. Good start. 2 dead. One of which was Scraps, who I believe was starting to streak. So don't have to worry about Selim. 325 away. 6 kill advantage. 7 kill advantage. LG just can't keep up with the aggression. They can't keep up with the slaying here from FaZe.
This is just brutal. This is just overwhelming pressure. And again, yeah, you got the lightning, but now you have him the first round. You're gonna have to burn him just as defensively as possible. It is just brutal. FaZe, another 3 down. They're gonna, have to dodge the lightning. And honestly, does Slack even want to call it in? You're down by 11 lives. You might want to chalk it up, but then you're down by 2-0. FaZe just running them over. Zuma looking for more, and Scraps with the 2-piece. They are just, they're on another level right now.
And you called it beautifully, man. Just play it like your Search Destroys in those situations. Just trade out. Now the lead is massive. The War Machine actually going to be invested for Scraps. He's wanting to try and find streaks, yeah. And well, there's your lightning. Honestly, you can just sit in the hill. Earn yourself the Hellstorm if you really want. Beautiful play. Good decision. FaZe 2-0 up. And if I'm honest, Chance, they have blown LG out of the water. Game 1, close. I will admit, but at the end, FaZe make the right decisions. They close it out. Game 2, not close at all. Game 3, the most one-sided of all 3 so far.
Well, I mean, I want to touch on the potential missed opportunity of Slack not just burning both the streaks to try to win a round that was very, very close, because obviously we see now, terrible spot to be in, but I think maybe you could argue that a slightly bigger issue is getting completely run over like a freight train coming through.
Yes.
That seems to be a bigger problem right now because FaZe completely on point. Like, you got 5 men that are all 0-0, and they're still up 2-0, Ben.
It's impressive.
It's incredibly impressive.
Well, FaZe 2-0 up. We'll send it over to an Astro Gaming listening with FaZe Clan.
Left. Nice. Close left. Oh, nice. 3.
Come with you.
You come be with me.
I be.
Both going right.
I got your left, Trey. Close to me, Tom. I'm backing up, Tom. Close. I'm backing up, Tom.
Bring me on if you want. Nothing.
Heavy.
One on Trey. Only one there. There's only one there, Trey. I need help. Weak.
Go B.
They're going vet. They're not going B. They're going vet.
Go van.
Window and kitchen. Window.
Nice.
Listen, no, they're going A.
Fine.
John and Paul will come down lower. He pushed left.
Oh no, man.
We can John.
Come on.
Wait.
I pinch. I'm point one shot. Done. Nice.
I don't left pillow. On the left pillow. You just stood on the pillow.
Nice. It was
Tom,
just go.
Stood on the left pillow.
Stay alive. Don't chow. He's on right side.
Going right.
Oh,
if you get the kill, man.
Let's go.
3 seconds left in the round. Potentially 2 ticks into B, or is it 0 still? In Vents with the ICR causing problems, and Scraps still has streaks for B, so even if LG want to go for it, they're going to be streaked out. Or are they? Well, they dodged that bullet, but it's like forced to now invest a lightning. The vent push could come through again. Selim's used his Tempest. The kills come through. Chance. Scraps was right.
If there was ever any doubt of who the better team was at this point in time, this is absolutely a statement game from FaZe.
Slam.
You just do whatever you want. That is just FaZe, next level, on point, hot 3-0, and for Scraps, you expect anything less. Just a fierce game to close out the night.
When he has emotion, he really just steps up. And again, we talked a little bit about guiding the younger players. Scraps doing his dues as well.
And so, Ben, I'll just bring it up, right? It's been a weird year, but I got one question and one question only. After that 3-0, Ben, what do we think LG?
You know what? We should wait for Nameless to answer that question.
All right, that's fair.
I feel like that would be the fitting person to answer that question, because FaZe just made a serious point. Scraps going in felt confident. That's why Search and Destroy has improved massively. And it's funny because we had this conversation in that break, and I'm going to bring it up again, Chance. If FaZe can become that classic S&D wins championship teams, let's say they win 75% of their S&Ds.
Which is a pretty high rate. It's not the highest team, but it's up there.
And they steal a respawn? Maybe.
And dude, can you call it stealing a respawn if they look that good? Because that's a control where that's not a steal. That is overwhelming domination, pressure. That is obliterating. So it's not even steal a respawn. Like, yeah, every time I watch them play, they bump up just a little bit higher in my mind.
It's an exciting time if you're a FaZe Clan fan. That's for sure. It's an exciting time for us to see a new squad grow as well. what is going to be FaZe Clan's ceiling? Can they win a championship? I mean, LG won a championship this year, and FaZe just did that to them. Yes, different time, different meta, but doesn't matter. FaZe looking good.
And I think that's going to be the true test of when you start playing the Optic in the division once they play those Gen Gs, because I think last time they made it to winners, they win against maybe Gen G and then 3-0. So they look great against a lot of those middle of the pack teams, but once that top dog came in, it was a different story. But obviously, they have improved.
Yeah, they most definitely have. That's everything from myself. And Chance, for the day, we can send it out to Jess for the last time with the PlayStation Instant Reaction.
Thank you, Ben. Coming off of what I'm sure was a disappointing finish at London, how does it feel to return to Pro League so strong?
I mean, for us, London was, we felt like we were robbed a little bit. So we were definitely disappointed, but to come back and just show what we're capable of doing, we haven't dropped the map so far. It's nice. It's awesome.
What are we seeing happen here in Columbus that we didn't see happen at London?
We're just bringing a lot more energy. I think in London, we lost the Optic, and I just felt like we were so dead. We just weren't talking. So I made sure we were just small talking, make sure making the right plays, staying composed, and we looked a lot better. So.
And what are you hoping to, or where are you hoping to finish rather here at Pro League? What are your goals?
First place. I think everybody wants to get first place. So we're shooting for that #1 spot, and I know we can do it with these guys. I got one of the best teams in the world, so I'm very excited.
Fair enough. Well, thank you so much. This has been your PlayStationers Instant Reaction. Back to Katie at the desk.
Thank you so much, Jess. And there you have it. FaZe Clan getting their revenge. A very hot 3-0 over Luminosity, who is continuing to just look lukewarm.
Yeah, they don't look very good right now. Right?
Absolutely not.
And I talk about a lot of these top teams that are like fundamentally sound, and it comes down to execution. And for Luminosity, I don't think they're fundamentally sound. I do think that Rampart played a really huge factor in their victory at Fort Worth, and I think that playing from the back end like that in these respawns, it's very tough, right? Especially with how teamwork oriented this game is and how tough it can be to break hills sometimes. And I think Luminosity really struggles right now in that regard. I think their teamwork is not there whatsoever, and they're the one super team I look at and I'm like, you have the pieces. What's going on?
After like really sitting and watching their respawn kind of close, it's like they don't wait for each other the same way that teams like Gen G do. So like on certain pushes, you'll see a guy just slide out and fight fights like they used to in the past, where they just run out and fight an individual fight. Where in times where they could just wait an extra 1-2 seconds for their teammate to be able to come and get their side or team shoot with them, they're just not doing it. It looks so sloppy, and I don't know what happened to them from forward. I really don't think it's just the Rampart.
I think that was a big factor.
It could be a big factor, but it wasn't just him. Like in that third map, John struggled. It's like different people are struggling at different times, and that has to do more with teamwork than it does with their individual play.
Well, and we saw too, early on in the season, some internal strife going on with them. Personalities potentially clashing, people not meshing because they were struggling. And do you think that's starting to crop up once again?
They have a victory under their belt, so I mean, I think they know what they're capable of.
They can do it. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Obviously, when you're not winning games and when you have a better performance at a LAN tournament, obviously the confidence is going to sort of dwindle a little bit. But we know this is a team that when they are at that low, they can break out of it and get back to being on top. So I think now that they know that, it might not affect them as much as before. I think it just really comes down to learning how to play the game in this current meta. And, that's something that together as well.
As a team.
That's something they have to do right now.
They're a team that's in a really weird spot, because if it was me, I wouldn't make a roster change with that team because know they can win. But if they continue to struggle in this way, it's gonna be on their minds, at least on someone's mind, that they should make some sort of move, or maybe a role swap. But there's only one of those periods left. So right now we're in a crucial point for Luminosity where they need to make the right move going forward.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it that last Dust segment. Do you make that change, which is the gamble, or you stick with someone that we've said can win
I think it's
tournament?
too early to talk about that yet.
That's
just because they've went through this and they won, right? So going forward, I mean, I definitely think if these 2 weeks go absolutely horrible, like you just got 3-0'd. If you get 3-0'd a couple more times, like maybe you think about making a change, but I think you can try to work through it because you have the pieces, you have great players, you have MVPs. You can absolutely win an event.
Also with them though, even when they did win, they weren't good in the league. They're not a good team, not a championship level team here in Columbus. They never have been. So it's like weird to judge them if you're a fan of Luminosity here in general. They just naturally play worse here.
That is very true. Let's pull up now our standings for Division A. You can see LG FaZe sitting right there in the center. And again, FaZe, you couldn't have asked for a better start in terms of them for Pro League.
What FaZe just did to Luminosity was unbelievable. We heard the cast was saying they had a lot of emotions behind this game right here. But Scraps, for me, he absolutely dominated the series. But players like Celium was usually the player that we heard, like Scraps was talking about. They would kill each other. I mean, kill everybody on the map. It's plain and simple. And just watching Cellium in that series, it looks like he's really starting to get comfortable with this team and just being like in this position that he is, because what he was doing on that map, like we saw him in that S&D versus Formal, that 2v1 versus John and Formal.
That's a veteran play.
That was just a veteran play out of him, and he's done that for so long, and it's just beautiful to see that he's actually bringing it to the
like
main
he's doing
stage
it
now.
on LAN versus pro players, people have won before. And this is a great place for Cellium right now to be in the Pro League, because like in Pro League, you can get that practice in with no huge crowd yelling at you. It's a little bit less pressure just because it is a regular season match, and it's different than an open event. There's not a huge crowd. There's not that much pressure where it's only 3 days I have to perform. You can have an off map, and you can perform that next map, and your team will forgive you for it. So this is going to be a huge learning experience for a player like Cellium, and those type of plays are what we expect to see from him, being a search and destroy player in the past.
Now, we saw a lot of good things from Cellium and other players today, but for our Astro MVP speculation, we do, of course, need to talk about Envoy from Gen.G and his performance. Of course, again, they did 3-0 Midnight today.
I remember giving him so much flack in the beginning when they dropped Spacely for this guy, but he's definitely stepped up to the plate, and for me, he's the best player on this team. Just the stuff that he's able to do, the positioning that he's able to get in, and he's doing it all with a SOG. Just keep that in mind. He doesn't have a Maddox, he doesn't have an ICR. The guy's just keeping up his aggression, winning every single one of his gunfights, and also trading with his teammates. He's putting on a flawless performance for his team.
Since the PLQ, he's just been like one of the most consistent songs all across the league.
Yeah.
We've never had one of those periods where like Envoy's really struggling at this point in time. Like he's been at the top of the song list, in my opinion, the whole entire time. Good for him. He's been such a consistent performer.
That's true, too. I think, again, they bring him in, and Gen.G is looking so strong. Like, again, they find that puzzle piece of the clutch factor, perhaps, and then they become an even scarier team. But we will see, again, if they can do that. But we need to move on now to our PlayStation damage dealt leaderboard, see where things start to fall as we get a little more statistics under our belt. Phantoms sitting at number 1 from Evil Genius.
His respawn today was on point. Like both those hard points, he played amazing. That can on that first map in that series he was on point. He was like 26 and 15.
Yeah, it was frequency.
And then even in the game 4, like he was just playing amazing. Like shout out to this guy having a great performance here in the Pro League, and definitely a player. He's from that FaZe Black team who did win that open bracket. Has a lot to prove on the pro level side of things, especially after their performance the last tournament. Stepping up to the plate today.
Yeah, we saw in that number 2 spot, we saw Dylan and nobody else from Reciprocity. And you could just tell, like, the guy was putting on an absolute show for his team today, and his team just didn't come to play today. And there's nothing you could take from that. Just literally wipe it off and just come back to
gotta forget
fresh.
about that.
I was glad to see that Apathy was on that list, because Apathy was a guy that's been struggling so far in this title, but as we know, he gets super strong later into these games, and when he does, he can be one of the best players in the game. So we saw him coming up. I don't know, man.
It gets scary if
anything can happen.
Once App starts catching fire, it does get scary.
To that point, let's take a look at our schedule, see what's going on there. For Wednesday, you can see it on your screen now. We will see App and EG moving on against LG at the very end of tomorrow, but it'll be a little bit before we get to that match. Now, our first full day of matches is done here at Pro League. Evil Geniuses got their very first win since March with their brand new roster. Unfortunately, with UIU falling once again, now 0-2, Gen.G recovered from an Optic sweep to take down Midnight 3-0. Reciprocity couldn't overcome Optic, managing one map, but ultimately falling as well. FaZe fired back, dominating Luminosity 3-0. But we will start tomorrow with UIU versus Midnight.